Hi, it's Scott here. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to enable and configure the CloneForce meeting analytics skill. We'll pick the right clone to own your meetings, wire it into your Google Drive, Calendar, and Docs operators, and then set up a scheduled prompt so your clone quietly processes each new transcript, sends the recap email, and files everything away for you. By the end, you'll have meeting summaries, decisions, and action items landing in your inbox and your clone's knowledge files without you ever touching a keyboard. Let's start by choosing which clone will own your meeting analytics. In Clone Studio, open the clone you actually use day-to-day in the clone.me org. This should be the clone you chat with, call into meetings, and rely on for real work. If you don't have a clone you use regularly, create one now and make it your primary work clone. At CloneForce, drinking our own champagne isn't optional. Your meetings should be flowing through a clone you actually work with. Once you've picked your work clone, switch over to Google Drive. In the left navigation, click My Drive, then open the folder called Meet Recordings. This is where Google Meet and Gemini drop your recordings and notes. With the folder open, look up at the browser URL. At the end, you'll see a long ID for this folder. Copy that ID somewhere safe. That's your Meet Recordings source folder ID. We'll paste it into the scheduled prompt later. Now go back to My Drive and create a new folder. Name it something like Meet Recordings Processed. Open that folder and again copy the ID from the URL. This will be your destination folder where processed meetings get moved after analytics has run. Before we turn on any automation, we want to avoid burning credits on months of old meetings. Back in My Drive Meet Recordings, select all the older Gemini transcripts and recordings you don't care to analyze. Use the Move action to send them into the Meet Recordings Processed folder or some archive location. When you're done, your Meet Recordings folder should contain only recent or new meetings. That's what the scheduled skill will watch going forward. Next, we'll verify Gemini notes are working and turn on the skills your clone needs. Start by making sure Gemini is actually creating notes and transcripts for your meetings. Create or join a quick test meeting from Google Calendar. Let it run for a minute, then end the call. After a short delay, go back to My Drive, Meet Recordings. You should see a new document appear with a name that includes the meeting title and the date and time, with Gemini notes or a transcript label. As long as these docs are showing up automatically, your account is configured correctly. If they never appear, double-check your Meet settings or reach out to IT. Now return to Clone Studio and open your work clone again. On the Skills tab, make sure the following skills are turned on: the Drive operator, the Docs operator, the Calendar operator, and the Meeting Analytics skill. For the Drive operator, confirm the Google connection has access to your My Drive, including the Meet Recordings and Processed folders. For the Docs operator, confirm it can read the Google Docs that Gemini is creating. And for the Calendar operator, confirm it can see your calendar events and attendees. If any of these operators show as disconnected, go through the OAuth flow and grant access with your work Google account. At this point, you have a clone that knows how to talk to Drive, Docs, and Calendar, and you have Gemini automatically dropping new transcripts into Meet Recordings. Now we can schedule the workflow that ties it all together. In this section, we'll create the scheduled prompt that makes everything run on autopilot. In Clone Studio, with your work clone open, click on the Schedule tab. This is where you define prompts that your clone will run on a schedule. Create a new scheduled skill execution and choose how often you want it to run. For most people, every 15 minutes is a good balance. In the prompt field, you're going to describe the workflow in natural language. First, tell your clone to use the drive operator to look in your Meet Recordings folder using the source folder ID you copied earlier. It should find the single most recent document in that folder. If the folder is empty, it should exit quietly and do nothing. Next, have the clone use the docs operator to read that transcript and infer the meeting's date and time from the title or the body of the document. Then, using the calendar operator, instruct your clone to search your calendar on that date and pick the Google Meet event whose time overlaps with the transcript's timestamp. That gives you the matching event ID. Once the event is identified, instruct the clone to call the calendar operator again and pull the attendee list for that event. The clone should turn those attendees into a single comma-separated string of email addresses. No names, just emails. Now it's time to run meeting analytics. In the same prompt, explain that the clone should call the meeting analytics skill, passing the bare document ID for the transcript and the comma-separated email string as the recipients for the analytics email. Emphasize that the document ID needs to be just the ID, not wrapped in an array or extra JSON. The emails need to be a single comma-separated string, not nested inside brackets. Also instruct the clone to wait until the meeting analytics pipeline has fully completed, meaning the email has been sent and the skill run is finished, before moving on. Finally, add one last step to the prompt. After the analytics pipeline finishes, the clone should use the drive operator to move that transcript from your Meet Recording source folder into your processed folder, using the destination folder ID you copied earlier. Save the schedule. From now on, every time Gemini drops a new transcript into your Meet Recordings folder, your clone will pick it up, match it to the right event, send out the analytics email to your chosen recipients, move the doc to the processed folder, and store the transcript and analysis in its own knowledge base. That's it. You've just wired your day-to-day meetings directly into your clone. From now on, every new Google Meet you host will quietly generate a transcript, trigger meeting analytics, send a clean summary email, and update your clone's knowledge so it actually remembers what happened. If you haven't already, take a minute to make sure you chose a clone you actually use for real work in the clone.me org, and that your skills and schedule are set the way we just walked through. And when you're ready to go deeper, check out our other how-to videos on building specialized work clones, chaining operator skills, and turning follow-ups from those analytics emails into fully automated workflows.